Tyler Henry has spent years convincing the world he can see beyond this life. But now, the man who claims to speak with the dead is facing something far more real and far more terrifying. A rare condition. A dangerous truth hidden inside his own brain. And here's the question that changes everything. What if the very thing threatening his life is also the source of his abilities? His rise was fast. Almost unbelievable. In November 2015, he appeared on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, giving a reading that left viewers stunned. A teenager, calm and soft-spoken, claiming he could communicate with the dead. People were hooked. And within months, he had his own show. Hollywood Medium with Tyler Henry premiered in early 2016, just days after his 20th birthday. It exploded in popularity. Millions tuned in. And suddenly, he wasn't just a curiosity. He was a phenomenon. But here's where it gets strange. How does someone go from unknown to trusted by the biggest celebrities in the world almost overnight? The success kept growing. A Netflix series followed. More shows. 2 books. A reported income in the millions. And a client list that reads like a Hollywood guest list. The Kardashian family. Eva Longoria. Jim Parsons. Megan Fox. Lizzo. So many powerful names, all sitting across from him, hoping for answers. Hoping for connection. But not everyone was convinced. In fact, some were furious. And that's when the cracks started to show. Or did they? Critics came hard. Relentless. Some called him comforting. Others called him dangerous. A neurologist accused psychics like him of exploiting grief. A skeptical investigator broke down his methods, calling them deceptive. Even major TV hosts spoke out, warning people about trusting mediums. The accusations were sharp, painful, and constant. But then something happened that made even skeptics pause. A prediction that seemed too specific to ignore. But was it really what it looked like? Months before actor Alan Thicke passed away, Tyler warned him about heart issues, family history, blood pressure. It sounded vague at the time. But when Thicke died from a heart condition, people started asking questions. Was it a real prediction? Or just coincidence? Critics argued it was nothing more than probability. Heart disease is common, especially in older men. But still, the timing felt eerie. And that lingering doubt kept Tyler in the spotlight. Loved by some. Questioned by many. But none of that prepared him for what happened next. Because in 2014, before the fame truly took over, Tyler's life nearly ended. He was just 18. He went to the hospital for what felt like a bad headache. Nothing unusual. Nothing alarming. Or so he thought. Doctors ran a scan. And what they found changed everything. A cyst. Deep inside his brain. One he had been born with. Silent for years. Until suddenly, it wasn't. And then came the shocking part. He had already suffered a stroke without even knowing it. Think about that. One day he was jogging, working in his garden, feeling completely fine. The next, he was being told he needed emergency brain surgery. No warning.
No gradual symptoms. Juste instant danger.
And as he lay in that hospital bed after surgery, surrounded by machines, dealing with unbearable pain, one thought kept coming back. What exactly was inside his head? That experience changed him. Deeply. He later said it gave him a new understanding of life. How fragile it is. How quickly everything can shift. But what if that wasn't the only thing it changed? What if something else shifted too? Something harder to explain. 4 years after, he kept working. Reading people. Traveling. Building his career. All while living with the aftermath of that surgery. That cyst. That stroke. But then, more than a decade later, something even worse happened. A new diagnosis. Rarer. More dangerous. And far more personal. And this time, the timing couldn't have been more cruel. In 2025, Tyler was preparing for one of the happiest moments of his life. Marriage. After nearly a decade with his partner, Clint Godwin, they finally tied the knot. A small, private ceremony. Quiet. Meaningful. At one point, they noticed the clock read 2:22. A sign, they believed. A moment of peace. But just 1 week later, everything changed again. Why did happiness turn into fear so quickly? Doctors found a tumor. A colloid cyst. Located deep in the brain. So rare it affects only 1 in 3 million people. And Tyler was that one. It wasn't cancer. But that didn't make it safe. These cysts can block fluid in the brain, building pressure until it becomes deadly. Headaches. Confusion. Seizures. Even death. All from something no bigger than a small grape. And suddenly, he was back in surgery. Again. The operation was successful. Mostly. But not completely. Some of the tumor remained. And that's where things took another turn. During recovery, Tyler began experiencing something terrifying. Slowed speech. Trouble finding words. Moments where his thoughts just stopped. Imagine that. A man whose entire life depends on communication suddenly unable to speak clearly. But here's the twist no one expected. What happened when his condition started improving? As doctors treated the swelling in his brain, something surprising happened. His thoughts became clearer. Sharper. He said it himself. Without the inflammation, everything felt more focused. Almost like something had been lifted. And that led to a chilling question. Had the condition been interfering with his abilities all along? For a moment, it seemed like things were getting better. But then the symptoms came back. Slowly. Quietly. Headaches. Confusion. That same frightening fog. And once again, doctors made the call. Another surgery. His third. 2 brain surgeries in just 6 months. And now the stakes felt even higher. Would this one finally fix everything? Or make things worse? Fans were shocked. Tour dates were cancelled. His career paused. And the irony became impossible to ignore. A man who built his life on communicating with the dead was now fighting just to stay alive. And in the middle of it all, one question kept rising to the surface. Could his condition actually be connected to his so-called gift? Even Tyler has wondered. Is it possible that the same abnormality in his brain is what allows him to do what he does? And if that's true, what happens if it's completely removed? Does the ability disappear with it? But beyond the medical mysteries, there's something even more human at the center of his story. Failure. Because for all his success, there are things he couldn't see, couldn't predict, couldn't change. And one of them still haunts him. As a teenager, he lost his first love to brain cancer. Someone he deeply cared about. Someone he couldn't help. That loss shaped him, defined him. But it also left a painful truth behind. Even if he could connect with the dead, he couldn't save the living. And then there was his family. A secret hidden for decades. His mother believed she knew who her biological mother was. But a DNA test revealed the truth. It wasn't who she thought at all. The entire story was wrong. And Tyler never saw it coming. Not once. Why? Because, as he admitted, his abilities don't work on himself or those closest to him. The connection goes silent. And that silence says a lot. His life is full of contradictions. He gives clarity to strangers, but faces confusion in his own life. He offers comfort to grieving families, yet carries his own unresolved pain. He claims to see beyond this world, but struggles with what's happening inside his own body. And maybe that's the real story here. Not whether he's right or wrong. Not whether his abilities are real or not. But how a man can seem so certain on the outside, while facing so much uncertainty within. So now the question comes back to you. After everything you've heard, the success, the criticism, the illness, the mystery, what do you believe?